right now I'm going to show you a disruptive advertising method and what led me to discover it. So I used to work at the largest 3PL in North America. One of my job responsibilities was talking to carriers and getting them to become a partner carrier for our company. Now, as I was talking to these trucking companies again and again, the same thing kept coming up. They didn't really want to become a partner carrier of our company because they had more freight than they could handle. But what they kept telling me was that, what we really need isn't more freight. What we really need is more drivers. And I thought that was just completely baffling. I knew about the driver shortage and I knew it existed, but I couldn't imagine companies really could not go out there and find any drivers. And so what I did is I started to look at the methods they were using to attract those drivers. And whenever I taught them how to do what I'm about to tell you, what I'm about to show you here, they were able to bring on newly highly qualified drivers for their company. And because of that, not only did they fill their empty trucks, they were able to buy new trucks, they were able to grow their fleet, and they keep hiring drivers month over month with predictability. So let's hop right in and I will get to it. You really want to think about this in two different ways, okay? So the first way is going to be called active attraction methods, okay? So that's active attraction methods. And this is what 99% of companies are doing when they're trying to find drivers. And it's really broken down into three main segments. Okay, so the first thing you have is things like, Craigslist, right? You have things like Craigslist, online classifieds. And, the problem with Craigslist is that everybody else is doing it. It's really the bottom of the barrel when it comes to hiring drivers. You get a lot of people that aren't really motivated, they're not really interested in being with your company long term, they ask, honestly, pretty silly questions, and they're just essentially the bottom of the barrel when it comes to finding drivers to work for your company. And that's one of the main things trucking companies use. Okay, so that one is a no-go. The next big thing that trucking companies typically use when they're trying to hire more drivers is internet job boards, right? Things like, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, those kind of places. Now with these, it may seem a little bit better, and you can have okay success from time to time, but the thing is, it's not consistent. And honestly, what I always say about Indeed is the only thing sure about them is they're going to indeed take your money no matter what you get out in return. And here's the thing about Indeed. Every other trucking company is doing the exact same thing. It's completely saturated. Every other trucking company is going out there, posting their CDLA jobs, and waiting for drivers to reply. Now, the flip side is, the drivers go to a place like Indeed, they can easily apply for 30, 50, and 100 companies at one time, and then field the best offers. So this is not an ideal place to find highly qualified drivers at all. The final one is things like trucking-specific job boards, right? And that could be cdljobs.com or whatever it is. There's a lot of them out there. I'll just put, trucking job boards. And these seem a lot better on the surface. You go out to these companies and they say, okay, well, we'll give you leads based off of your criteria, your hiring region, years of experience, whatever it may be. Everybody has their own little pitch. Now, here's the thing about these. They usually charge some monthly fee, or they charge you a per lead fee, something like that. And let's be conservative. Let's say that they only charge, $2 per lead. And that sounds fantastic. You're thinking, wow, I can get a driver that's in my area of hiring for $2. Awesome. Now here's the thing about these places though. They go out and they sell that same lead to dozens of other trucking companies at the same exact time. So they're essentially pitting you against 20, 30 other trucking companies and all at the same time trying to talk to this driver. It's insane. And so I don't know about you, but if I were a driver and if 20 to 30 companies are calling me day after day after day, A, I wouldn't answer, and B, I'd probably turn my phone off. And that's probably what you've experienced if you use any of these kind of sources. So those are all out. Now, of course, there's other things. There's billboards, there's newspaper, there's radio, there's, my favorite, empty trucks in your yard that says now hiring, right? This stuff doesn't work. It's old, outdated, it simply doesn't work. Now, the good thing about this is in an industry that's so outdated from a technology standpoint, it's quite simple to do stuff differently and get fantastic results. So that moves us on to the next thing. So active attractive methods, that is what everybody's doing. That's 99% of companies, right? But then if we think about the top 1% of companies, what are they doing? And this is what we do. So this is called disruptive advertising methods. It really comes down to 2 steps. One, you got to think about where good drivers actually are, okay? And if you think about it, a good driver, a highly qualified driver that you want to work for your company is out on the road driving. He or she is working for another company, putting in their miles, putting in their hours. They don't have a whole lot of free time. In their free time, maybe they're laid over, maybe they're fueling up, maybe they're at a rest stop. Like, that's their free time, that's it. I promise you, those top drivers, those highly qualified drivers out in the market now, in their moments of free time, they are not going to Craigslist, they're not going to Indeed, and they're not going to a trucking specific job board. There's no way. And so you got to think, well, where do they go? And honestly, it's the same places that you and I go. And that is, places like social media. Okay? So that's where you want to be doing disruptive attraction methods. And so here's the thing. Whenever you go out and you do disruptive advertising or disruptive attraction methods on places like social media, there's a big difference. And that's what we're going to get to here real quickly. We'll come back to this in a second. So on an active attraction method, something like Craigslist, Indeed, or trucking job boards, right? I'll draw a little driver here. That's my driver, right? They typically are going to be motivated by 2 things, okay? And that is a rate per mile or a sign-on bonus. And think about it. If you are an individual, you're a driver that has the time to go spend your day on Craigslist or Indeed or a trucking job board, well, guess what? Either you're unemployed or you're looking at jumping jobs, and if either of those are your situations, you're going to be more money motivated. You're going to be more picky. You're chasing the rate per mile or a sign-on bonus. And that's a huge, huge problem. So all the carriers out there right now using this, they're simply attracting the wrong drivers. They're attracting these drivers that are motivated by rate per mile and motivated by sign-on bonus, and that's it. Now, if you think of it the other way, well, if you go out and advertise on a place like social media, where those good drivers are actually spending their time, they're not actively looking for a job, right? I mean, they may be in the marketplace and thinking about doing a career jump at some point, but at this moment, when they're on their phone at a truck stop, looking at social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever it may be, they're not looking for a job. They're going there to kill time. They're looking at friends' pictures. They're looking at so-and-so. That's what they're doing. And so we go out and we put disruptive advertisements in front of those drivers that meet your criteria. Okay? Now, here's where it gets really different. So they're looking on Facebook, for example, or Instagram. They come across your ad. Your ad doesn't focus on rate per mile or sign-on bonus. Your ad focuses on what makes you and your company unique. Okay? And so that's the big difference. Is when you advertise on a place like social media, you are going to put ads disruptively in front of a driver, and we don't expect every driver that sees it to apply. We only want those drivers that stop, watch your ad, read your ad, whatever it may be. They get interested by what your company has to offer, and then they apply. Okay? So now you have drivers that aren't necessarily motivated by rate per mile or sign-on bonus. Okay? Because I always say if you win on money, you're going to lose on money. If you pay a high rate per mile, guess what? There's some other carrier out there that pays 2 cents more a mile. If you pay a high sign-on bonus, guess what? That sign-on bonus is going to end at some point, and there's 100 other companies in your area that have sign-on bonuses as well. It's easier for those drivers to jump ship. So that's not what you want. You want a driver that is invested in your company. He wants what you have to offer. He's not actively looking for a job. He happens to see your disruptive advertising. he may get interested based off what you say and things you write and videos you record and all that kind of stuff in your ad. And only if he's interested, then we roll out the red carpet and ask him to apply. So drivers are now more highly qualified. They're not actively applying on places like Craigslist, Indeed, trucking job boards, etc. So they're more of an exclusive lead. No other trucking companies are speaking with these drivers. And so now these drivers are interested in you. And that's the big difference with this. They're interested in you and what your company has. And get this, this is the real kicker. I haven't even gotten to this yet. We're going to touch it real quickly. So, you do disruptive advertisements on places like social media, etc., right? Let's say this happens. Let's say a driver sees your ad, he's interested, he goes to your website or whatever it may be, and he wants to apply, but he doesn't. For whatever reason, he doesn't apply now. Maybe his dispatcher called, maybe he's running late, maybe he's tired, who knows? For whatever reason, he or she doesn't apply. But we install code onto places around the internet that allows you to do what's called retargeting. Okay? So a driver sees your ad, expresses interest in your ad, but he doesn't apply. Guess what? He gets retargeted. And he starts seeing your company again and again and again. And we send him right back to the advertisement and to apply. Okay? And that's what works. This is disruptive advertising methodology, and this is how you can go about hiring and attracting more highly qualified drivers to work for your trucking company by generating exclusive driver leads. Okay, so listen, if you'd like to learn how to attract and hire more highly qualified drivers using this system I just taught you, here's what I want you to do. Book a call with me directly. We'll talk about your business and see how this system would make sense for your company. If you'd like to be a part of it, we'll explain what we have to offer and how that works, and ultimately you can decide if that's something you want to be a part of or not. So, if you work for a trucking company and you are looking to attract and hire more highly qualified drivers, don't hesitate, book a call with me now, and let's just have a quick chat. Take care.